Hello everyone, konnichiwa, Natachi. I wanted to give you a quick date up on some different things I've been doing with assessment. So I'm videoing this on my phone, so if it's a little weird or shaky, I apologize. But with assessments, I've been thinking a lot about what this means and what is important. And while test-taking ability is very important, so midterms and finals still have a very much a purpose in the world, but as far as those unit tests go, what are they about? If we're talking about assessment for learning as much as assessment of learning, then you have to remember that you're just trying to ascertain a student's level of knowledge on a topic, not necessarily their test-taking skills. Some students are really good at ordinary tests. They are good with the pressure, reading the questions, figuring out what the teacher is after. Other students are not, but they might be really phenomenal cartoonists and artists, or maybe they're really good at writing papers and analyzing things that way. So if that be the case, there should be a variety of options available to students to demonstrate their knowledge on a given topic. I will still be able to assess their test-taking ability and encourage those skills during midterms and finals. But as far as the unit topics go, I tried to do something a little bit different. So, here we go. This was my great idea. I cannot take credit for this. I got this out of a workshop, but I did shift it kind of from my own means. So, these 9 are assessment choices that each student has for each and every chapter or unit, whatever you want to call it. The only specification is that the student must have at least one tic-tac-toe by the end of the year. Or the semester in this case. I tried to organize my setup here so that each direction included something writing related, something out of the box, and then something technology related. And I was mildly successful, but this was my first go through. So each of these 9 things is an assessment, which means they all have the same weight in the gradebook as a test. Again, if you're assessing knowledge of a topic, it shouldn't matter how you're assessing that knowledge. So this piece of paper is in the front of my classroom in a basket along with the rest of the rubrics. So if the kids lose it, they can grab another one. They don't have to bug me. This paper also has the... so I can focus a little better. There we go. This paper also has kind of a detailed instructions of exactly what each assessment needs to go by. So again, there's no surprises. Then in the same basket where you find this, there are these. So each assessment has its own rubric. So I grade using these rubrics. If you're first time tuning into my videos, I grade using a GPA scale as opposed to just points acquired. I feel like points acquired tends to put the focus too much on how well you played the game. Whereas a GPA score, 4, 3, 2, 1, A, B, C, D, makes it a little bit easier to communicate your level of knowledge without playing that game. So this particular rubric is for a lab report. So you can see over here in the introductory column, we have things like, was it done on time, your name, your purpose, things like that. Then we get into some more fun stuff, calculations, graphical representation, analysis. Each of these increasingly difficult topics are things I want in the report, being in increasing levels of difficulty on my rubric. So the way this works out is these things are weighted through here, so you are still doing points a little bit, but it's taking the focus, again, off of that how many points do I need to get an A thing. Let's see, so that's one example. Here is another rubric. Woo, sorry for the flash. The iMovie, if you remember, was one of my choices. So it has its own rubric. So when a student completes this movie, they either put it in my Dropbox or on YouTube, and they have to turn in the rubric. I don't go look for the rubric. So that allows the students to have, if you are an artist, you're not really a good test taker, you can pick a different series of assessments that you can do. And once you've got that tic-tac-toe, once I've forced you out of your comfort zone, even just a little bit, then you can start repeating the same assessment over and over again. For example, my honors kids tend to do this one right here. So they like staying inside the box as much as possible. So this only forces them to read something out of National Geographic, Scientific American, something like that. But it does force them to demonstrate their knowledge in a slightly unconventional way. And then once they have completed these 3 on 3 different units, then they can go back and repeat for the next chapter. If they've done these 3, then for the 4th chapter in the semester or the year, they could go back and repeat kind of their favorite. So it gives the students a bunch of different options. Let's see. Oh, so the other fun thing about this is I took all of this information and I put it on my board. Let's see if I can back up a little bit, give you a better view of it. So this is my board, my great board here. And so this represents student grades. So there are the topics over there on the far right-hand corner. Those are the different chapter topics in my course. I teach chemistry in case you're just tuning in to my videos. Well, Superchemlady, I guess that's, never mind. But you'll notice that there are 3 lines for each of these topics. So 1, 2, 3. The idea being that by the time in science, once is a fluke, twice is a coincidence, 3 times you might actually be getting to something. So the idea is that once they've demonstrated a topic 3 times, they're able to opt out of that on their final if they like. I was trying to come up with a way. The poor juniors are so over-tested between ACT and AP classes and EOCs that I wanted to give them a way to take at least one of their classes and ratchet it down a little bit. So students can do multiple assessments. If you remember this chart here, they turn in 3 assessments on a given topic, and then I will take it off of their final if they want. If the scores are poor and they want to raise it, they can leave it on their final. So for example, if we're talking about the solutions chapter, it has a lab in it. Let's say on assessment day, when the assessment is due, it used to be test day, but now they can turn in something else. Let's say we do a lab in that chapter. On assessment day, they take a test. So that's 2 assessments already in that topic. Then a couple of days later, they turn in a periodical summary review. That's 3 assessments on that topic, means I will take it off of their final. So on the board, the different colors represent the different grades. So a 4 or an A is represented by a green. Blue, nice warm fuzzy color blue, is a 3 or a B. Yellow, just like a yellow stoplight, kind of cause for concern. That's a 2 or a C. That's average. That's not bad, but we can do better. And then red stoplight, red concern. This is a 1 or a 0, a D or an F, indicating that the student needs to, we got some improvement work to do. So again, like this student here, 1, 2, 3. 3 assessments on this topic means that they can opt out of this section on their final if they want. And you might be saying, well, hold on, how can you display student grades and still have privacy maintained? Well, the names you see across the board up there are actually mostly B-tier superheroes and villains. So the idea is that nobody would be fighting over Batman or Superman or names that everybody knows, and they're actually random. They pulled those names out of a bowl. So only I and that student know who belongs to which name. So that way, if they don't tell anybody, nobody else knows who that name belongs to. I came up with a few other awards, things like writer, what else is up there? Writer, Hollywood worthy, trifecta if they got 3 assessments in a particular topic, lab rat, superstar, future mad scientist. If you have any ideas for more awards, let me know, because I would love to have some more for those names. Just to, again, encourage student achievement and for them to really try their best. If you've looked at my other videos, you know that I do retakes, and so the retakes are indicated on this board as well. You can see this student originally got a C on the first test, or the first assessment that they turned in, but they were not satisfied with that grade, so they demonstrated anew. So they didn't just redo this test here. It was a completely new assessment, a completely new lab, completely new paper, or a brand new test, whichever they chose, that they took, and you can see the student did in fact improve from a C to a B, demonstrating that higher understanding. And since this is all about learning assessment for learning, this new grade replaces this original grade completely. I have been exceptionally pleased with this board. We have a mix of Gen Chem and Honors Chem on this board, kind of a mix, but it gives me a really good look at a glance of just how the class is doing as a whole. And also the students themselves, which ones are falling behind, which ones are real go-getters. First semester material, since chemistry is a cumulative class, first semester material is down here on the bottom part, and so you'll see students are starting to turn in assessments for those older chapters. But since we already assessed them once from first semester, I didn't feel the need to make them do it 3 times, so they only have to do it twice. And the benchmark, the midterm, does count as one of those assessments for that first semester topic. So it gives them, again, the chance to demonstrate that knowledge. If they show it to me, they know it. Why do I need to make this extensive, hellacious final for them to do when they've shown me that they understood the material on 3 separate occasions in 3 very different ways? So again, assessment of learning as opposed to assessments for learning, trying to encourage that. So I have been exceptionally pleased with both the grid and with the board. I thought that I would share that with you. If you have any further questions, be sure to leave them in the comments box below. I would be happy to further explain anything I've done. Other than that, have a good day. Take care. Jamata.